Oh my gosh. So getting back to Andrew just for a hot second, do you think he and his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, will write, will, as we say in America, pull a Harry and write a tell-all? Will both of them or will one of them?
There are new claims that Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York, has been quietly exploring the idea of a tell-all memoir rather than a sit-down televised interview. And it would be something that would lift the curtain on her years inside the royal family. But before anything has even been signed, her daughters have stepped in. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are reportedly urging their mother not to go through with it, warning that a book like this could trigger serious fallout for everyone involved. Sources say they're so concerned they've desperately begged her to put the project on hold. The timing makes this panic even more understandable. This memoir threat comes just months after Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir triggered Prince Andrew's complete removal from royal life in October 2025. When that book was published, it reportedly provided Prince William with the ammunition he needed to finally strip his uncle of all remaining titles, reducing him from Duke of York to simply Andrew Mountbatten Windsor.
Sarah Ferguson, formerly the Duchess of York, of course, is considering offers for a tell-all TV interview in the wake of her public downfall over links to sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. US channels are said to be willing to pay six-figure sums.
The fallout has continued ever since, with more photos of the ex-prince in compromising positions with women. According to reports first picked up by Star magazine, Sarah Ferguson had been quietly exploring a book deal that would reveal private details from her years inside the royal family. The plan, according to insiders, was driven less by revenge and more by money. At 66, Fergie is said to be under constant financial strain and looking for a way out of mounting debt. One source described money as a daily stress for her. But when her daughters learned what she was considering, their reaction was immediate and firm. The same insider claimed Beatrice and Eugenie were desperate to stop it, warning their mother that publishing a tell-all could end in disaster. The fear, according to that source, is that it could reopen old wounds, drag their father back into headlines after the Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell scandal already destroyed him, and potentially put their own standing at risk. The phrase used was blunt. They are terrified she could destroy everything. The message from the sisters, reportedly, was simple. Do not do this. Not now, preferably not ever.
I've heard stories that both of them have investigated this, and Sarah certainly over the years has talked to lots of publishers. I think the problem is, do they carry any credibility about what they write? Are people going to buy the books? I mean, after all, she's just had her children's books cancelled because people feel she's pretty toxic.
Sarah Ferguson, for her part, is said to be torn. Insiders insist she does not want to hurt her daughters and has agreed to slow things down. The book is not officially cancelled, but it has been shelved while they try to find another solution. One source said she agreed to pause the deal specifically for the sake of her girls and will revisit again when the dust settles. That shows where the real pressure is coming from. This is not Buckingham Palace stepping in. It is not lawyers or publishers backing off. It is two daughters trying to protect what little stability they still have left. To understand why they are reacting so strongly, you have to look at the context they are living in right now. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have spent the past several years navigating one controversy after another tied to their father, the former Duke of York. While Buckingham Palace has repeatedly stressed that their roles are unaffected, royal commentators have acknowledged the emotional toll. Under the George V letters patent of 1917, both sisters retain their princess titles despite their father's demotion. But that protection feels increasingly fragile.
A source told The Sun Andrew's had his chance to tell his story. Now it's Fergie's time. This could be a major headache for the king,
Well, it
couldn't
is a
it,
major
Paul?
headache, isn't it?
In an interview with The Mirror, ITV News royal editor Chris Shipp said clearly that the guidance from the palace was that Beatrice and Eugenie should not be held responsible for their father's actions. But he also added that it must still be emotionally draining for them to watch his public humiliation and the complete destruction of his reputation worldwide. Katie Nicholl echoed that sentiment, describing the heavy burden carried by royal women. She pointed out that while there are privileges, there is also constant scrutiny. Every move is watched, and every association is judged. There is no room to quietly move on. So when reports surface that their mother might add fuel to that fire, it is not hard to see why the sisters panicked. At the same time, Sarah Ferguson's own situation has become increasingly unstable. Multiple reports describe her as effectively without a permanent home after leaving Royal Lodge. While Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has been preparing to move into Marsh Farm, his new cottage on the Sandringham estate, Sarah has reportedly been searching for something nearby and coming up short.
I think these are basically negotiating tactics to try and get a better deal, to try and scare the royal family, and they could call their bluff. I think much more subtle would be to leak stories through trusted journalists, Owen Scobie or...
Sources told The Times that she has struggled to find anything that matches the standard of her former 30-room residence. Friends described her as being in a fragile emotional state, saying the combination of her fall from grace and housing uncertainty has taken a toll. One source told the paper that while relations with her daughters are warmer, no offer of permanent accommodation has been made. She has somewhere to stay when needed, but not a long-term solution. Princess Beatrice lives in the Cotswolds with her husband Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi. Princess Eugenie splits her time between Kensington Palace and a home in Portugal with her husband Jack Brooksbank. Neither arrangement allows for their mother to move in full-time, and according to reports, that boundary has been made clear. That shows the line Beatrice and Eugenie are trying to walk. They are supportive, but cautious, loving, but firm. They are helping where they can without fully absorbing the fallout. Meanwhile, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's situation has continued to deteriorate. Reports suggest he has become increasingly isolated, with senior royals no longer in contact and parts of his social circle disappearing. The Times reported previously that concerns about his mental health led to police revoking his firearms licence, with weapons removed from safekeeping at royal properties. Against that backdrop, the idea of a tell-all memoir feels less like a business decision and more like a grenade. And that is exactly how Beatrice and Eugenie appear to see it. An insider quoted in Star said the sisters warned that a memoir would not just reopen old controversies, it would create new ones. Even stories meant to defend or explain could be twisted into headlines. Even well-intentioned revelations could backfire. Once published, nothing could be taken back.
An Andrew Morton type figure, that's the way they can do it. But the royals have their own weapons. They have a huge file on both of them with embarrassing material, so this would be mutually assured destruction. And also they have the pressure on the daughters. The daughters have always been collateral damage, shall we say, right from the divorce.
There is also the question of timing. With their father still making headlines and their mother described as emotionally fragile, the sisters are clearly trying to reduce noise, not add to it. This is especially sensitive given that Sarah Ferguson inherited Queen Elizabeth II's beloved corgis, making her connection to the late Queen a potential source of public sympathy that could be lost if she publishes damaging revelations. As of now, the memoir is on pause. Sources say it is not completely off the table, but the momentum has slowed. Whether that pause becomes permanent remains unclear. What is clear is that Beatrice and Eugenie have drawn a line. Whatever their private feelings, they are united on this point. A tell-all is a step too far. So here is the question I want to leave you with. Do you think Sarah Ferguson will ultimately listen to her daughters? Or do you think financial pressure will eventually push this book back into motion? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want to stay up to date on the latest royal family developments, make sure you subscribe.